So over the years, I even have, like, even recently, bought a lot of SSDs. These are, I'm not sure what the interface is on the inside of this. I would assume maybe it's a 2.5, maybe it's, I doubt it's SATA, maybe it is a different protocol, but anyway, I had my eye on these and I've seen good reviews of these enclosures. These are USB-C enclosures. As you see, up to 40 gigs of throughput. That's ideal. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to run into that big of a space, but one thing I do like is these things are tiny. So this is USB-C Thunderbolt compatible. Comes with the tiniest screwdriver. You can't even, doesn't even focus. There it goes. A little screwdriver. Oh, thermal pads. Oh, thermal pads for heat dispersion of a drive. Documentation. And the actual enclosure itself, which is, I knew it was going to be small, but I didn't realize it was this tiny. It's comparable to this drive, so that's the brand. There's a few that are similar to this, so this one, Amazon Prime had it like $30 off, so I was like, let me do that. Alright, so the bottom comes out, the drive goes in here, and then you have your plate and those screws. It all goes in. Let me look at this real quick because it does have those thermal pads. I want to make sure I put them on right. Okay, so it has multiple thermal pads, thankfully, 1, 2, 3. I suppose you can just buy them after market too, but the drive, I wanted to go larger, but I was like, I don't want to spend that much money and then like it not work the way I want it to, so this is a little bit cheaper. There's not much logic to there. Plus, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money because I just bought another drive. The main thing is like to make sure this enclosure lives up to the hype, which I'm pretty sure I've seen some benchmarking on other YouTubers' pages, and it seems to be the one to go with. I've been using like the Samsung and the SanDisk USB-C drives that are just all in one. You just plug it in and go. I've had pretty good luck with them as far as just using them and speed and everything. So this is a Lexar. I just chose it because of the price. It was a good price for as compared to the other ones, and it still has the right protocol. I don't know if you call it a protocol, whatever interface it is, and it has a pretty good throughput, optimal throughput. But that thing is smaller than a stick of RAM. I obviously have SSDs, and my laptops have SSDs and whatnot, but I've never dealt with this type of interface before. I've been seeing it. They've been around for a while. There's nothing new, but I just wanted to try one out because apparently if you have this and the throughput is comparable to the onboard disk. If that's the case, then I could always upgrade this later on down the road, get another one of these, dump this one in, and get like an 8 terabyte and save the Apple tax on hard drives at least. So it's keyed. It's a keyed I can't even see. So you see there's a tiny little on this side. There's a tiny little key there, and it corresponds with the same one here. So let's see, it goes like that. So let me grab one of these thermal pastes because you do need this. This will produce heat. That's just the nature of the game. Oh, there's only two. There's two tabs. I see. Okay, so one side goes on my drive, on the actual physical drive itself. I'm guessing. I don't know where the other one would. Oh, for dispersion of heat. So if you've ever put and made a computer like from the parts, you'll know that when you put CPU, you have to put the thermal paste down so that way it'll transfer heat. So this will allow this will allow it to transfer heat if I hold it the right way. So you put it in at a 45-degree angle, and it should just snap into place. It does get held in with a little screw. I'm usually not about putting screws in enclosures, on enclosures. That's why I've bought ones that are like you just drop in, because I rarely will keep that one the same forever. I mean, you'll get a bigger drive or whatever, and then you'll just transfer out of it. Just off camera, I'm screwing this in. Got a nice little screw in there, so that way it'll keep it. So there goes a tiny little screw, tiny and little. Not just tiny or little, but tiny little right there. Because if you're on YouTube, you have to say tiny little or giant big or whatever. Redundant words. This one I'm going to have to put screws in because the bottom will just come out. Actually, I wedged it in there just right. Okay. Let me get my screws out. Like I said, this is brand new for me. These have been around for a while now, and the price is finally starting to get into like a reasonable territory for what it is. And the funny thing is, mechanical drives are still pretty expensive. They're larger. A lot of them are more towards people with NASs now. They're more NAS based with larger drives, but this is solid state. I could go. I'm not. I could shake it like a salt shaker, but I'm just gonna choose not to. Take your little covers off, and all it is, it's powered by the bus, so there's no extra power that goes to it. So it goes in here and then goes in there. Let me try this out. Was not recognized by, yeah, there you go, it's uninitialized. So all I have to do is partition it. I'm going to APFS. Alright, I just formatted it and it looks okay. Let me see. Alright, so I just formatted it, everything came out okay. It's always nice to try to, it's always nice when it doesn't mess up, when it actually works. So let's do that. I'm just going to this is going to be where I start working most of the time. I had an issue with my laptop a couple weeks. I almost made the video, but I somehow got out of it. I reinstalled the operating system. It just fixed, I think my boot sector got corrupted. I don't know how. I literally was using it in the morning, and unless, like, I don't know how I messed up. I don't know. It freaked me out, so I quickly ran off the main drive and onto an SSD drive. So I figured, well, if I'm going to do that, let me go ahead and, oh, I hit the sale. Okay, great. Now I can actually move to a drive that's really fast and external from my machine. So if the machine goes belly up, the operating system goes belly up, really, I can just wipe it, and I can wipe it, and I'll have to worry about where my data at. One thing about this, it is powered by the bus. So that means you don't plug it in on an external power. It does not, it just doesn't work well with, it needs to be powered is what I'm saying. I'm trying to do a few things and I'm scatterbrained, so sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't care. Nobody watches this beyond a handful of people. But I'm running it off of I tried to run it off of a USB-C hub that works pretty well. I've had pretty good luck with it, but it's also powered by the bus, so it does not have a power plug to it. I have my little Zoe going crazy because I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I think she fell asleep and I moved. Anyway, so it did not work. I plugged it into that USB-C, and anytime I tried to write data to it, it dumped off. So, having said that, I plugged it straight into the laptop, into the USB-C on the side, where I knew it would get power. And my dog's just going crazy. Is she okay? She's fine. She just starts barking because I'm looking at I'm seeing the mailman's out there, right? So it has to be plugged into a USB-C from the laptop, or the hub has to be powered. If it's trying to draw too much power, it dumps it. So I tried to copy something and it automatically dropped off and said you can't do this because the drive is inaccessible. So instead of panicking, I figured, oh, it's probably powered because of the disk. The disk needs to be powered. So I think everything's okay. I'm gonna run some tests and I'll finish up this video. I realized I didn't have a closing to the video. This is like a week later. It works well. It's small. It's easy to move around. I'm able to copy 2.5 gigs a second. So it's pretty decent. I was able to real world. I was able to take pictures from a time lapse, 2,500 images. Yeah, it was 2,500. No, it was 2,200 images. 2,200 raw files that are approximately 22 megs a piece. I was able to move them from my local storage to this drive in under a minute. I think it was like 56, 57 seconds. So it just moved along really quickly, moved quicker than when I download from the card to the hard drive. So this is a new staple. I want to get an 8 terabyte the next time, but they're so expensive. It's stupid because this is like $100. No, it was $78 for the drive, and then if you went to 2 terabytes, it's about $120. So you're like, oh, that's not too bad. And then it's like $200 for 4 terabytes, and then it jumps to $800 for 8 terabytes. So it's just, they aren't as prevalent as they will be in, like, let's say another year. So like this time next year, October 2024, you should be able to get one for about $400, $400, which shouldn't be that bad. But all hard drive prices, they always just go down. There's a point where they're kind of static for like not even that long. Even with everything that's gone on in the last few years, the price is like static for like a few months, and then all of a sudden they just start dropping. So it's just a waiting game. But it is fast. That's the thing that it lives up to the hype, and I was doing all the read tests and all that stuff. And in real world, it works really fast. So I'll definitely be using this type of interface from now on.